One of the penalties of an ecological education is that one lives alone in a world of wounds. Much of the damage inflicted on land is quite invisible to laymen. An ecologist must either harden his shell and make believe that the consequences of science are none of his business, or he must be the doctor who sees the marks of death in a community that believes itself well and does not want to be told otherwise. So wrote Aldo Leopold in his best-selling, award-winning book, A Sand County Almanac. The book was published posthumously in 1949. Leopold died in 1948, helping a neighbor fight a wildfire on the neighbor's property. Leopold's family scrambled to put together his latest writing into a series of essays titled A Sand County Almanac, called Sand County Almanac because it occurred in the Sand County region in Wisconsin, where Leopold lived right before he died. When Aldo Leopold arrived in the southwestern United States in 1909 as a young forester, fresh from Yale University, he saw 6 huge roadless areas stretching across the immense territory to which he was assigned to work as a forest ranger. Each of these 6 areas was larger than 500,000 acres. That's more than 200,000 hectares. And they were essentially untouched by human hands. He surveyed the 2-state region again in 1919, by which time the territory had become the states of New Mexico and Arizona. In the 10 years between surveys, the 2 states achieved statehood, and the number of areas larger than 500,000 acres had shrunk from 6 to 1. Leopold spent the rest of his life attempting to codify the idea of wilderness into law. 16 years after his death in 1948, the Gila became the first designated wilderness area in the world upon passage of the U.S. Wilderness Act in 1964. The Gila Wilderness was the first designated wilderness area in the world. I spent several years creating an off-grid homestead less than 2 miles from the Gila Wilderness. I hiked many of the trails in this first-of-its-kind area. And courtesy of dear friends, I have visited the Aldo Leopold Nature Center in Monona, Wisconsin. Big thanks to Phyllis and Kurt. Of course, in 1949, there were 2.5 billion people on this planet. We eclipsed the 8 billion mark quite recently. That's way more people. For all of Leopold's labors, the dire prophecies he made have come true. Of the wilds he documented, only the Gila remains of any significant size, and it has been split down the middle and paired at the edges. These are the consequences of 2.5 billion, and then 3 billion, and then 4 billion, and then 5 billion, and then 6 billion, and then 7 billion, and then 8 billion people just wanting more and thinking they need more. More of what? More of everything, of course. That's all we need. More of everything. At the edge of extinction, only love remains.